Hey, hello, Whovians, and now we're going to shift focus to the final series, David Tennant's 10th Doctor, his final series as the 10th Doctor, referred to as Series 4, where essentially we have Donna Noble return from the Runaway Bride as a full-on companion, which was really, really cool, and the fact that things were bringing the Doctor and Donna together, which was really, really cool. The fact that there was this whole story arc about how did they end up meeting at the same time at the same point. They had that whole story arc going on, and also the fact that the planets were disappearing. That was a big plot line into Series 4. So let's go through some of my favorite episodes of Series 4, shall we? Partners in Crime. I actually don't mind this story. I mean, I know it was kind of interesting to see a woman who had a sonic pen over the sonic screwdriver, the fact that the Doctor was able to counter it. So that was really interesting. The fact that this woman was making adipose cute little aliens who basically were giving birth from people who were taking the dieting pill from Adipose Industries that was making so many little adiposes and bringing them to life. And another powerful story, Fires of Pompeii. Really great story. I love how they did the whole Pompeii storyline. Obviously, this was where Peter Capaldi, basically, it was because of this story that led to essentially Peter Capaldi becoming the Doctor because of the whole Faces plotline, like about how the Doctor got his face later on in a few years later. And then, of course, we had the return of the Santorans, which I didn't mind the Santorans return. I thought it was quite cool to see the Santorans coming back, even though it was a little lackluster here and there. But I didn't mind the whole Poisonous Sky plot line. It was something unique for them, even though it could have been a bit more dramatic. But actually, the Santoran story was actually the fact that they made a clone of Martha. I thought that was really cool. So yeah, that was really cool. The Doctor's daughter, obviously, that was really cool. The fact that the Doctor had his own daughter, which I thought was really nice. The fact that even though it wasn't, it was essentially a daughter made from a machine, but he embraced her as his daughter Jenny, who we haven't seen, which by the way was played by his wife Georgia Moffat, who was the daughter of the fifth Doctor, Peter Davison. And obviously, it was because of this story that led to their marriage and their relationship, pretty much. Thanks to this story, David Tennant finally had a wife. And then we had another story, the Science of the Library, Forest of the Dead. The whole River Song plot line began here. The fact that you had the Vasta Vanar. I probably butchered the pronunciation of the enemy, but either way, this story served as the introduction of the whole River Song thing Moffat was going to do which eventually Moffat did when he took over in Series 5, but he brought Matt Smith into the fray and finally used River Song as part of the plot line for his run of Doctor Who. River Song was used for. Well, I guess you could call it a four-parter in a way. We had the Midnight Story, which was all about that hidden enemy, which we just had its sequel this year. But yes, Midnight was a very, very scary story because you don't know what the enemy looked like until this year, obviously. But then we had the whole turn, and then another story, obviously, Stolen Earth, Journey's End. I was going to say Turn Left, but I prefer the story end and Stolen Earth and Journey's End, because obviously we had characters from the Sarah Jane Adventures, characters from Torchwood and Doctor Who all come together in a war against the Daleks and Davros. Yes, Davros made his return, part of Journey's End and Stolen Earth two-parter. We also had our very first ever regeneration, where a lot of people thought David Tennant was regenerating, when actually he faked his regeneration, but he made a Meta Crisis Doctor in the process, which was essentially what that plotline was all about. But either way, the very first fake regeneration ever Doctor Who history. So that was a deal for Doctor Who, the fact that the Doctor could fake his regenerations, or essentially fake his regenerations at any point. So that was essentially what we saw in regards to series some of my favorite episodes of Series 4 of Doctor Who. I'd love to hear your favorites in the comment section below. I actually, like I said, I mean, I felt Series 4 was quite cozy, very, very cozy. It was great fun to see the Doctor and Donna, best friend, traveling together and having fun times. And then obviously in the end, Doctor had to wipe her memory just to save her life. It was really sad for him because he knew that Donna wasn't going to, he didn't want Donna to remember him, essentially. But obviously, he managed to save her, finally fix that problem years later, which was really well done. And I'm really glad he did because Donna needed, that to be fixed, essentially. So, yes, so that was that was essentially the Series 4 episodes that I enjoyed. And I would, again, love to hear yours in the comment section below. We are going to be shifting focus in the next part to Matt Smith. Series 5, 6, and 7 has finally transitioned from David Tennant to Matt Smith with the arrival of the 11th Doctor into, of course, the debut of Amy and Rory, who were his companions for the first few episodes of his reign as the Doctor before he transitioned, before he finally was joined by Jenna Coleman, who would eventually join him later. But anyway, we'll be looking at Matt Smith's reign as the Doctor. So I will see you all. See you then.